All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking about real music in real time for real people just like you and just like me. Another olive branch has been put out there from Neal Schon to Steve Perry. Very interesting development, and goes along with the idea that when Journey announced their new rhythm section, which was, of course, Narada Michael Walden and Randy Jackson, who had been in the group before, I said to myself, this is a rhythm section that Steve Perry would approve of, especially based on what happened back in 1986. And was this done strategically for that purpose? Well, I know for a fact that Neal has been working with Narada for quite some time. There's a solo record that Neal recorded that is still under wraps, hasn't been released. It's called Universe, and Neal was talking it up for a little while and haven't seen the album come out yet. Maybe Neal is waiting for the right record label, or maybe he just figures, let's get some Journey material out there and let's not cloud it up with solo material. In any event, Narada's been around for quite a while, helping out with Neal, and they're old-time friends. And I think Neal Schon saw the value in a more rhythm-based approach, rhythm and blues-based approach, and to bring Randy Jackson in, who is a monster bass player. You've got a rhythm section that has the Steve Perry seal of approval on it. So in an interview he did with Eddie Trunk, he says, hey, me and Narada, we're at the studio. Steve is welcome to come by anytime. I don't want anything from Steve Perry. I just want to hang out. But imagine Steve Perry being in that environment again where you've got creative individuals. And Perry works better with others. He is a really smart writer and arranger, and he can kind of tell people what he wants. But then as far as executing those things, I think having the right players, having the right people around Steve Perry is key to getting the most out of what he does. All right. As much as Traces was an enormous comeback album for Perry, I would say that the only thing lacking on Traces is some of those guitar parts could have been Neal Schon parts. Some of those bass lines could have been Randy Jackson bass lines. Those keyboard parts, John Cane with his classically influenced style on keyboards, all of it would have just made for an even, I think, more impressive outing. There's no question about it. You know, to bounce ideas off of other people, you tend to get better results. You tend to be more humble, and you hear things and they hear things, and they may hear something different than what you hear, or they may hear a part where they can kind of finish the sentence or, you know, close off an idea so it's more complete. And no question, this is what happened from the get-go when Perry meets Neal Schon. You know the story. They write patiently, very quickly. Steve's waiting to have his turn in the band, and he's got to be patient, and thus they come up with this song Patiently, which is the first song that Neal and Steve wrote together. I think they have really great chemistry, whether Steve acknowledges it now or not. There's no question. And then you add Jonathan Cain to the mix, and these three guys in a room together. Even, let me put it this way, even if they wrote a bunch of songs and they still had Arnell singing these songs, I know some people would feel like that was, you know, they got gypped or whatever. But if Perry didn't want to be in Journey or be like responsible for singing these parts, the songwriting that these guys could do, and then have, again, Narada's input, Narada, again, he can write songs on his own. From what I know about this Journey material thus far, it's going to kick everybody in the ass. It's going to be something totally upbeat and on steroids, and have a swagger to it and a strut to it that you may not be ready for if you're an old school Journey fan. And if I'm Steve Perry, I'm thinking, man, I want to get in on this, just because, again, I haven't lost my passion for music again. I still have it, hopefully, because that was the story. He said I had lost my passion for music. Well, Traces is done. He's probably recorded some more stuff, or he's thinking about doing it, or whatever. But imagine being in an atmosphere where there's a ton of creativity. There's no touring right now, so Perry doesn't have to worry about going out on tour with anybody. I'm telling you, the situation is perfect for a Perry and Schon and Narada and Kane and all these players. It's perfect for a collaboration. And Neal Schon definitely put out the olive branch when he said, hey, we're at the studio. Steve's welcome to come on by at any time. That would be some sweet stuff right there if Perry decided he wanted to come back. So, yeah, we can dream. Pretty much everybody on my Patreon says this every time. It's like, we can dream, can't we? Yeah, you could dream. I mean, I'll believe it when I see it. But even if Perry just contributed one track, like he had this idea and he stopped by and said, hey, would you mind, maybe we could collaborate and put this on the album? And maybe legally there's stuff going on behind the scenes and that precludes everything. But why would Neal Schon put that out there? Even amidst all of this legal stuff that's going on, why would he say, hey, Steve, you're welcome to come by? Because Neal knows this would be just a game-changing event in the music world to have those two guys, or even if Steve has an issue with Jonathan Cain, Jonathan is in Florida still, and Neal and Narada are on the West Coast, and I'm sure Randy could probably show up quickly. I think he lives out there too, but Arnell is in the Philippines. So, I mean, this would be just a collaboration between these three guys, and I think it would still kick some serious butt. So, in any event, the olive branch is out there again. I don't think Neal's going to stop trying. I think he's just living the whole don't stop believing theme here. All right. Thanks for watching. Don't forget Patreon if you want to help the channel out, $1 a month. That is the low amount. You want to just be a part of the page or not even say anything, just want to help support the channel. It's $1 a month to do so. If you want to give more, that's up to you. At least subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. We're comfortably above 30,000 subscribers now, slightly more comfortable than the other day when I said we made it, because we hadn't officially made it. But I think we're over now, and I appreciate everybody who's subscribed and who keeps subscribing. Thank you very much. I will be back soon, so stay tuned for more content on this amazing YouTube channel.